Good morning. Slightly different video today because it's so wet. There's absolutely no machinery running. Nothing's really going on. I haven't drilled anything since last week. And it's all gone a bit Pete Tong. So, anyway, as we can't grow crops anymore because we've buggered up the environment so much and all the weather's gone to shit as per usual, I got to look at alternative ways to make money. So, one of the ways we have de-risked the business in the last year is signing up for the sustainable farming incentive, because as there's no basic payment anymore, which effectively took all the risk out of growing poor break crops, and well, basically it was a farmer's profit. It was pretty much equivalent to the BPS. Anyway, there's no BPS anymore, so we've got to make money elsewhere. So we've used the SFI a little bit, but there's something else which a lot of farmers are skipping out on, and the money's on the table. And we know the money's on the table because there's been a DEFRA underspend of over 100 million for the last 3 years now. And by the budget at the end of the month, that's going to go. I'm going to be talking about capital grants today because I see that as a lot of these things. We can boost the infrastructure on the farm, do a lot of repairs, do a lot of positive good for the environment as well. And a lot of them are actually money making. The main one I'm going to be trying to take advantage of is to do with hedges. So hedges are blimmin' everywhere. And they're all man-made. They're all put there as a divider for fields, often for different soil types. But basically nowadays, they are a liability and not an asset. You either spend hours and hours every winter out with your flail mower, topping them to absolute smithereens, and you don't get any return from it. All it is labour and diesel and not much else. So I want to start trying to make money out of hedges, because they're an underutilised asset at the moment. So how am I going to make money out of hedges, you may ask? Well, public money for public goods, of course. And as part of the sustainable farming incentive, the hedgerows that we manage on the farm currently, both sides of hedges, so per one side of hedges, the total amount of hedgerows we have across the farm is 60 kilometres. That is a bloody huge amount, and you can get paid for effectively positive management of hedges. So of the sustainable farming incentive, we are getting paid £13,000 a year for one, doing an assessment basically on the condition and basically how we would manage them going forward, doing an assessment. Also the management, how we manage them. So either cutting them every other year in January and February, or cutting them every 3 years from September to February. And also maintaining hedgerow trees. So you need an average of 1 hedgerow tree per 100 metres. But also, apart from the SFI, you can get paid for capital grants for managing these. So as part of the maintenance, either every other year or every 2-year cutting, they can also be part of a management cycle. So all hedgerows should be in a cycle. It's actually called the Adams cycle, not named after a relative as far as I'm aware, but there is a certain condition score for hedges and how they should be managed in a yearly cycle. And effectively it should be either in a coppicing or a laying rotation.
So that previous diagram shows you what kind of hedgerow you've got and in what condition it is, and then this one here shows how to get it into basically a dense and well-managed hedgerow kind of rotation, whether that's rejuvenating it by laying, coppicing, or planting, or like gapping up, for example.
So a thin hedgerow like this, you can see all the gaps through the bottom, it's overgrown, there's loads of trees. That would benefit from coppicing. I can't really show what would benefit for laying, but effectively if this was a newly grown hedge here and a bit more thick, it would benefit from laying. But there's too many gaps at the bottom, so that would be better for coppicing. This hedge is probably suitable for laying sometime soon. Probably if we trim the sides up a little bit on either side, let it grow out taller in a year or so. It's quite suitable for laying. That'll come back really well. Probably give it some hedgerow trees. So we did do some hedge laying last year just to have a bit of a play, because we haven't done some since Grandad was around. And it looks really good. And this, it's still really windy in that bit. And this year, we'll barely have to touch that hedge. It might need a tiny little trim, but not a lot. But it's really thickened up that hedge, and it's positive for the environment and for management. So for hedge laying, with top binding and staking, which is what we've done, show it in that photo, I'll just put it up here. You can get paid £19 something, I'll put it here as well, per metre for doing that effectively. And I just got some prices, and I'm seeing a few quotes, but I'm seeing another chap tomorrow for doing a big section, 2.5 kilometres of very overgrown and ancient hedge, and that's going to come in at just under £15 a metre. So we should be able to get net £4 a metre. We just got to clear up the brash, but I've got a solution for that, hopefully. We'll see. And then for coppicing, so a hedge like that, you get paid £5.33 a metre for that, because these are all beneficial things, public money for public goods. And I also got a grant for my tree shear, which I've just bought here, which will hopefully be busy on this winter. So those are two methods of capital grants where I think I can make positive change to the environment around the farm. I can increase revenue around the farm, and also reduce the amount of workload, i.e. The maintenance of the hedges. Yeah, I've got to do the work, but it should lessen the maintenance throughout the years. So it's not like we're going to abandon hedge cutter. I mean, we've got it on the tractor behind me. Yeah, we've got to fix some hydraulics, but it's still going to be used pretty much every year still, just less. And one other thing, there is also a grant, another capital grant option called TE11A. I'll just put that up here, but again, that is tree surgery. That is for pollarding. There's a grant for smaller trees and larger trees. For the larger trees, although it is more money, you need like an arborist's report, and it's a lot of work and blah blah blah. So it's just a lot better for pollarding, just for these smaller ones. So you can do that within hedgerows that you're going to be coppicing as well, so you can pollard any large trees. So yeah, that should add a fair bit on as well. So any kind of tree like this behind me, covered in ivy, half dead, limbs probably about to fall off, so I can get paid to pollard that, take the limbs off, and yeah, 73 quid. We have got a fair bit of willow around, so we will be using it on a lot of willow. That's all right. Yeah, so long story short, farming's a mug's game. It's bloody wet, there's no money in it, it's a pain, it's depressing, but you can make some money out of hedges, I reckon. So that's where the future is. Anyway, so from SFI and the 3 hedgerow standards, 1, 2 and 3, we're getting a good bit of money out of that. For the coppicing, £5.33. For the tree pollarding, 73 per tree. And for the hedge laying, what was it? Hedge laying, top binding and staking, just over £19 for all 3 of that, for those 2. So no, it's not going to make me a millionaire, but if it improves everything, then it can't be a bad thing. Hope you've enjoyed. Sorry to be depressing about the state of farming, but it's just blimmin' annoying at the moment. And yeah, I'll do some videos on when we start doing some laying. Just saw the chap today who's going to lay 2.5 kilometres for us in the next few weeks. Seems like a nice bloke. Should do a good job. And I'll be doing some coppicing and pollarding this winter, hopefully, and I'll keep you updated. Anyway, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and hopefully see you next week.